Hello again. Adam. I'm ready to do How I Got Started Part 2, or the year 2007. And last time my mom told me that I use my hands too much, so I'm going to use them a little bit less. But not like this, just like somewhere in between. I just like to use my hands when I talk. And also my house is a little rearranged, so I'm actually in my bed this time. But I think it looks cool. Got a nice white wall. It's like a studio. I'm on my bed, but it's still a nice white wall. And, yeah, let's get started. So by 2007, I had my Rebel XT, and I was shooting with that now. I remember when I got it, I didn't even know how to put the lenses on it, because I had never shot with one before. And I just went out and got one. That was a little more expensive than the last thing I got, and I think I again spent my college money and then some of my money that I made at my day jobs, which I discussed in my last video where I worked and such. 2007, I started having bands stay at my place a lot more. Again, it was mostly MB on the Coast and 4 Letter Lie. And there were some more bands as well, like Danger Radio, A Life Once Lost, and different metal bands. But I started getting a little bit more involved in the music industry. So I learned how to do emails, I learned how to get my own photo shoots, I learned how to get my own press passes, and all those things I just slowly learned by doing. I learned what an invoice was. I did not know what an invoice was, which is a pretty basic thing, so just sort of goes to show you how much I had to learn. A lot of embarrassing things, but I think right off the bat, at the beginning of that year actually, MB on the Coast flew me out to New York, and I was pretty stoked on that. I did a photo shoot with them, and it went terrible. Did not get a single usable photo from it, but I did get a lot of experience, and I learned exactly what not to do, like definitely bring a coat to New York in January. Don't set fires in elementary school yards. It's not a good thing to do. MB on the Coast made all their decisions based on a trouble board. Did not know that. That was cool, I thought. The only game trouble. That's how they made all their decisions. Over, I think the first few months of that year, and a little bit late into the year before, I purchased a few lenses and an Alien Bee. Again, I was spending all my money that I was making at my day jobs on these things. So the lenses I got, I had the 50mm 1.8, and I had the 17-40. That was my first L series lens I got. And then I was using the 18-55 before that. I got rid of that, 17-40, 4.0, and started using that. So right off the bat, I was using that for like all my portraits, all my press shots, all my live shots, because it was my best lens. Yeah, right after I got that Alien Bee light, I taught myself lighting. I was just shooting with a cable, figuring out how to use a light, and I had a softbox on it, and it was pretty simple. I thought when I got it, you take the light, you aim it at your subject, and then you get a nice picture. It's just a matter of figuring out your different camera settings. So once you had those figured out the softbox and started using that, and I combined it with my 2 speed lights. I also had some speed lights. So I guess 2007 was the year I started collecting a little bit more gear as I figured out what I needed. I'm a really big advocate for not going out and just buying gear. I did that once with, I guess the best example was a light meter. Somebody said I need a light meter, so I bought a light meter. Used it once, hated it, had to sell it. Figure out your problems, you know, shoot. Figure out what you need to do, like maybe you're not getting enough light, get a stronger light. Maybe you're not getting the look you want, get a different camera that gives you more depth of field. Things like that, so that, you know, you're solving a problem, you're not creating more by buying gear you don't even know how to use. And that's a trap a lot of people get stuck in, you know, they just think they need better gear. But you really don't need better gear, you just need what gets the job done. And sometimes that can mean not very much gear, or just the easy stuff, and then learn your way from there. So 2007, like I said, I was finishing up high school, and it was constant balance for me. You know, school, shooting, learning Photoshop, staying not depressed. I had a lot of personal issues, things like that. But 2007, I'm definitely not going to be able to talk without my hands. Sorry, Mom. 2007, it was just a balance of those things. And I definitely got in trouble for truancy that year, which basically means I wasn't going to school as much as I should have, or I was late to school every day, mostly because I would just stay up late and just not sleep, go to school, sleep in class, go on my computer, just didn't really do it very much. And while I was in high school, I really took advantage of not having to pay rent and having a lot of free time. I just tried to do as much as I could with photography in school and out of school. Take advantage of that time I had that actually you lose once you get out of high school. Whether you start a family, or you start more school, or you have to pay rent, or you have to work your job, or you have to make food. Your day gets more and more busy, and I didn't realize that while I was in high school. I just did it, and then realized that afterwards, and was thankful that I did do that in high school. So if you're still in high school, take advantage of your time. Realize that the classes are very important, but they're not going to set the tone for the rest of your life. Just do them. Do what you need to do to get through high school. If you enjoy going to school, then continue to college. If you don't, then do your thing, man. Just have fun with it, and don't worry so much about stressing yourself. Just enjoy your high school career, because it's actually fun if you figure out how to be friends with your teachers, have a good time, and not get too caught up in all the crazy drama. At least that's what I think. Alright, enough of me talking about my philosophy of high school. Moving on. So I graduated from high school. That was awesome. Me and my best friend didn't really do school very much, so I think during graduation we played Call of Duty. Call of Duty was awesome. So yeah, we did that, and I didn't actually get my diploma for like 3 years after high school. I had to go back to my school and pay him like $7.50 that I owed the lunchroom, which I swear I did not owe the lunchroom. They just made that up, or somebody used my account. And I had to pay a lunchroom so that I could then get my diploma. So I now have my high school diploma somewhere, but it took me 3 years. But thank you, Madison West High School, for eventually giving it to me. I really appreciate that. After high school, I started doing a lot more shoots because I had the full day to myself. I was basically shooting for people's MySpace backgrounds. I mean, MySpace was big back then, so I was shooting a lot of different bands' press photos and just getting my name and my work out there, both live and press photos. They could basically use the photos, they just had to credit me, and that helped spread my name and helped get my name out there and helped me get more shoots. And I was also shooting local bands and building my name locally, maintaining those relationships with the local bands that aren't touring, but they're still good people to know because they know the local music scene. And I started driving to Milwaukee more, which is a more major city than Madison, and that helped me shoot bigger bands and grow my clients even more, and reach out to, maybe a band would play there and they'd play all around the rest of the U.S., and people would see the photos, because they're fans of the band more so than the local bands, at least. So it just trying to grow my name and grow my client list, I guess is the best way to put it. That summer I shot Work Tour for Alternative Press magazine, and it was in Indiana. I drove down with some people that my mom worked with at her shoe store. They were more like 23 my age, and we went and I shot, and we hung out afterwards at Envy on the Coast, and I just networked a little bit. Definitely out of place. Had no idea how the touring world worked, but it was fun, and I shot as many bands as I could, and Alternative Press posted on their website, and I was incredibly excited. And yeah, it was my first shoot for a magazine, I guess you would say. It was not paid, but it was like an online gallery, and I was pretty pumped. Get my photos published on a website, and post them on my Flickr, and do that thing again, just trying to spread my name, grow, constantly keep shooting. And that's what I tell people a lot, is just to keep shooting. Sometimes people stop shooting and they get in the habit of just thinking about, well, maybe I should do this next, maybe I should do this next, what's this person doing? When really you should just keep shooting, keep learning, keep pushing yourself, get through times you don't really feel like shooting, and just enjoy it. Just try to enjoy it the whole way along. My summer was good. I spent a lot of time with it just doing girlfriend stuff, friend stuff, shoots, and eventually the school semester started. I actually went to college. I went to college, like a tech school, first semester, and it was all on diplomas and grants, or whatever you're called. It was basically a free ride, so I decided to try it out. I didn't want to go to college, but I thought it would be a good experience, and I took my classes. I had my time there, and it wasn't really for me. I did learn some stuff, but mostly what I did was I just went to school, hung out at the library, and worked on my Smug Mug site, just updating my portfolio, editing photos, and it's pretty much the same thing I did in high school, just in college now. So it was almost like a little bit of a waste of money, but it was a good learning experience. And towards the end of 2007, I picked up a manager. My manager managed bands, and then he saw one of the local shoots I did, and said, "Hey man, I'd like to help you out." And we sort of had a working relationship where I didn't really have to pay him, but he would help me out and I would help him out by shooting his bands. So it was a good give-take kind of relationship, and we both gained something from it. And my manager was almost like my mentor. He really taught me how to do emails, reach out to people, and business etiquette, which is a hard thing to learn. If you aren't in the industry, you don't realize that these people send hundreds of emails a day, and that is how you talk to each other. And there's a certain unsaid set of rules on how you talk to each other in email. So I learned a lot of that year, and it took me a while. It was a learning curve. For a while, he actually wrote my emails and would give them to me, and I would change them a tiny bit and then send them, or I would write them, send them to him, and he would correct them and tell me what I did wrong, and I would send them out. I'm not the most well-written person. Well, I wasn't the most well-written person, so it took me a long time to really get the emails down. And now I'm good. But back then, it was definitely a struggle. Throughout the whole year, I definitely shot a lot of live shows. A ton of live shows. And you can look at my past tour dates and my past show photos to see when and where I shot those shows. And that sort of just goes hand in hand with making connections. I was shooting shows just for my friend, getting photos on MySpace, sending photos to the artist, and just trying to collect contacts, just bringing it all in. And, again, I didn't have to pay rent, so I didn't have to make much money. I sort of had that, I had that luxury of just being able to shoot whatever the hell I wanted. And that was awesome. I did a lot of online research, whether it be how to use a smoke machine, or how to use lenses, or how to use lights, and looked at a lot of samples of people's work to sort of teach myself what to do with my gear. Asked a lot of questions as well. Man, I imagine I annoyed so many people, but there are a few people I hit up that were definitely very helpful. I think Tim Harmon was one of them. He was a big photographer in the music scene then. And then I also talked to my friend Colin Hughes, who is a good dude from Minneapolis. And I just tried to get what help I could from the internet, and looked at a lot of people's photos on Flickr as well. And then I would try this stuff out myself and learn from my mistakes. It was frustrating, but I learned a lot. And the most important thing, I've said it already a few times, and I'll just drill it into your head, is I just kept shooting. And I just kept learning and keep going and going. I learned a lot about photo shoots that year by making a lot of mistakes. And like I said, I got that softbox. I had a battery pack for it, and I did almost all my photo shoots at my dad's house, in his backyard, or in his dance floor. You see, my dad is a construction engineer, and he builds houses, and he had built this pretty big house. I consider it a mansion. I don't know, bigger than anything I've ever lived in. It's 6-bedroom, 5-bath. Bottom floor was a dance floor. Backyard was huge yard with a cornfield. And we didn't own it, but he couldn't sell it, so we just moved into it until I could sell it. So for a year or two, we had this house he couldn't sell, and it was perfect for photo shoots, because the basement was, with the exception of the roof being a little short, was just a dance floor. So I could do tons of photo shoots in there, and I would basically just have the bands that stayed at my house, or that were playing shows in the area, come with me, drive over there, we'd do some photos, and then I'd go to their show. Yeah, I did my first shoot for my manager in Chicago with Ace Enders, and that was a big deal for me because he's an artist who had been around for a while. And just did it at the venue, did it at his office, and like almost all my shoots back then, I was shooting in venues and office spaces and anywhere I could really get a space, and I was using my Alien B and 2 speed lights and just making do with what I had. And just making connections was the most important part, so see people, see them again, and continue that relationship. And throughout the year, I just met tons of people. And by the end of the year, I had the best relationship with 4 Letter Lie. And I finished 2007 off by going to their holiday show in Minneapolis. It's about a 6-hour drive. I'm with my mom. And I shot it for them. And it was at that point that I talked to him and I really told him, hey, I think it would be cool to go on tour. I think that's a good next step. And so if you guys have room, I'd love to come with you. You don't have to pay me. I just wanted to come take photos and travel the States. So, yeah, that's pretty much my year of 2007. It was really my setup year. It was shoot everything I can, make as many connections as I can, learn as much as I can, and try to get on the road. I didn't know that was my goal, but throughout the year I sort of discovered, hey, I think the next step to becoming more of a music photographer is touring. Right now, all I did was shoot press photos and set up shots because that's really what I enjoy. But I was hoping to make a progression and learn more about touring, about what it's like to be on the road. And I mean, in my head, you know, I wanted to be like a band dude. I had long hair at the time. I looked like a band dude. I dressed like one. And that's really what I wanted to do. And I guess I was pretty much just a fanboy that really wanted to go on the road. And I was going to do what I could to get on the road. And I guess that brings us into 2008, which will be the next video. So, yeah. That's what I got.